Hey, good evening, everybody. This is Darrah. Welcome to Saturday night. It's 10:30 p.m. Central Time. You are listening to RadioVisions. I hope everybody had a good day. I know I did. Tonight's topic is dreams. Not necessarily the ones you have when you're asleep, but we will talk about those as well. I'm talking about the dreams of things to come, your hopes, your desires for you, your family, your friends. What do you dream? What do you hope for? So, like I said, every Friday and Saturday night we have a new topic, and that's tonight's dreams. Everybody has a dream of some kind. It might be as simple as getting up and making making it through the day to survive another one, or it might be the dream of owning a nice house, starting a family, owning a dog. Actually, the dog owns you, you don't own it. But if you've never had pets, you don't know that. And those of you who have had pets will know that very well. So, what is your dreams? Why don't you let me know? Send me an IM tonight and let me know what your dreams are. So, dreams. Let's start out with people's desires. What do they dream? A good 90% of the population say they dream of money. To me, that's a very boring dream. That kind of dream is like everybody else's. Why bother? What's your personal dream? Your personal dream. Well, let me go back to explaining one of my personal dreams. This is one I've been working on for 7 years now. For the last 7 years, I've dreamed of selling my house and moving to another state. The only reason why I'm still here where I'm at is because I have children here, and they're in school. As soon as my daughter graduates, which will be in May of 2010, so I got a year and a half of school to go, I'll be able to fulfill my dream, I hope. So I'll sell the house, buy me an RV, move into it, and hit the road. And for a few of you that were out here a few weeks ago, you'll know we did a topic on living on the road with RVs and stuff. And you'll notice that this is going to be a theme probably throughout this radio career of mine. So keep that in mind, that being free, doing whatever you want, however you want, whenever you want, is very important. Keep that in mind as well. So here we are, we're out on the road, living the life. What that life will bring, who knows? I could be out there 2 weeks and realize it's really not for me. I could be out there 2 weeks and realize, darn, why didn't I do this sooner? But I had to put everything into perspective, so I had to finish raising my kids, get them through high school, out on their own. And like I said, my daughter will be graduating the year 2010, May, if all goes well, which at this point in time, everything's going great. Don't see why she would not graduate then. So here we are, living the dream. So what is your dream? Mine is to be a free will, free bird, flying around, doing what I want, driving to state, town to town. Staying here for a while, staying there for a while, moving on to the next. Or maybe just driving to another state like Washington, New Mexico, Arizona, Reno. Just settling down there, who knows? Won't know until we really get to that point in our lives, but everybody has something they've been working on or dreaming about. What is yours? Like I said earlier, is it that big house? Well, right now you're living in an apartment, working 40 to 80 hours a week, hoping to save enough back to buy that house, hoping to get that promotion at work so you can enjoy life a little more. What is your dream? Everybody's idea of dreams are so different. So different. 2 or 3 years ago, people were fulfilling their dreams left and right. They were buying homes. And then the dreams crashed and burned for a lot of them that got in a little over their heads. Loans matured and ballooned, and they couldn't afford the payments. That's the downside of dreams. No matter what you want, no matter how hard you work for it, there is that 1 second, that one fraction of a moment that could take it all away. But don't let that get in your way. Don't let that stop you. Push forward, push forward. I don't care if you're sitting there going, I've been working on this dream for the last 7 years like I have, and it don't seem to be going anywhere. How can I make this happen? How can I make it go somewhere? Well, the truth of the matter is, some days it's not going anywhere at all. And other days you can actually feel it move. So keep in mind that dreams are relative to everyday life. Now, once you set up your dream or your goals and you try to move towards them, they're going to change a little bit here and there. And as they change, that just means you're growing. And as you grow and understand these changes, life will have a new meaning, a new purpose. And your dream will become more real. Keep that in mind. And I know what you're thinking. You're going, Darrah, how can it become more real if it's changing? Well, you need to stop and think about it. 7 years ago when I said this is what I want to do, the very basic foundation of what I wanted to do was move to the state of Washington. And that was it. That was the basis of the dream. Nothing else, nothing more, nothing less. And as time moved forward towards this goal, my kids grew up, got through school, and are moving slowly towards that finish line for me. That dream has manifested itself in several different incarnates. One of them was, like I said, just to move there, get a job, and live out my life there in a new state. Now that I'm a little older and not doing some of the things I was doing, like doing live shows on a scale of what I was hoping to, I realized that that part of life may not ever happen for me. So my dream changed a little bit. So I'm not going to move to another state and do shows. Okay, fine. Then my dream turned into, I'm going to buy an RV. I'm going to hit the road in it and see where it takes me. Like I said, it could take me to a number of places. It may not be to the state of Washington, where I've thought that's where I wanted to go to live out this idea, this dream. Some of you will say, no, it's not a dream, it's a fantasy. Well, if it's a fantasy, I've had fun with this fantasy for the last 7 years. So keep that in mind as well. But like I said, as it's growing closer, things change as you grow. What was important in the beginning may not be important once you get to that finish line. So keep that in mind as well. Now, like I said, now here I am 7 years, almost 7 years later, and my idea from just moving to another state has changed into buying an RV. Let me give you a little more background on that. Originally, I wasn't going to buy an RV. I was going to buy a travel trailer. So I could pull my home behind my vehicle, blah, blah, blah. And as the last few years have passed on that, now I'm looking at buying a motorhome. So I can pull my vehicle behind it. Kind of ironic, isn't it? But that keeps me from doing two things. One, buying a new vehicle, because the vehicle I currently own would not pull the trailers I was looking at. And two, the motorhomes are just as nice as the travel trailers. And some of them have some features that the trailers don't have, and vice versa, of course, but that's what I was looking at. So that is my dream at the moment, is to buy a motorhome and to travel. Like I said, I'm not a rich man. I don't have thousands of dollars put away. Don't get me wrong, I do have a retirement fund that I will not be able to get to until I'm probably 198. But, hey, what are you going to do about that one? But like I said, we're going to travel this great land, or I am. Who knows where I'll end up? I may end up right back here in the state I left. I hope not, but you never know as time goes on. So like I said, we're going to travel a little bit in this motorhome I hope to buy in a year and a half. I'll buy it hopefully earlier than when my daughter actually graduates, so I'll have time to figure it out, fix it up the way I want it, make sure it will do what I want it to do. You know how that goes. You got this thing in your mind of how it's going to be, but then when you actually start buying the stuff to move towards it, it changes a little bit due to the fact that you're thinking it's going to work one way and it really doesn't, or there's ample storage in it. Then once you get it, there's really not that much storage in it. Little things like that can get in the way of any dream. But right now, that's my dream. What's yours? Right now, I know some people that are working very hard and very tediously to finish school. And that is a very great dream. Everybody should finish school. And I'm not talking just high school. If you've graduated high school, let's say, and you didn't go to college or any trade schools, and you just graduated high school, went directly into the workforce, like so many people do. And it's a few years later, and you feel like your job isn't going anywhere, and life is just slowing up, and you're basically bored with life. And you're looking about going back to school, trying to figure out how you're going to pay for it, what type of school to go to, and all that. That is a great dream to have. Don't let it crash and burn. Follow through with it. Even if you actually don't go back to school, go far enough to know if that's the right choice for you. Check out the schools. Check out the trade schools, the colleges, whatever area you're looking at. Is it something you can do now? Is it something you've got to save for a few years? Then do it. But don't sell your dreams short. Make sure you follow through with them enough to know if they're going to be real. Too many people out there have dreams that they never follow through with, hence the name pipe dream. So don't let it be a pipe dream. Let it be reality. And only you can change that. Only you can make it reality. Regardless if it's living in a 10,000 square foot home or living in a 30-foot trailer. Make your dreams reality, no matter which way you look at it. Make your dreams reality. And if you're just joining us, you're listening to RadioVisions, and I am Darrah. And tonight's topic is dreams. Not necessarily the dreams you have at nighttime, but dreams, your goals in life. Where are you going? What have you always dreamed of doing? When you were a child, did you dream of growing up and being a fireman, a ballerina, a police officer? Or were your dreams more along the lines of astronaut, time traveler? Or were they more simple, more basic, as I just want to finish school, then see where it leads me? No matter what your dreams were, they're great ones. They're wonderful ones. Keep that in mind. Never let anybody tell you anything different. So, dreams are whatever we want them to be. Dreams are simple, dreams are hard, dreams are fast. Dreams may come in October, they may come in November, they may come in January. They may come out of the blue, where you least expect it. So keep that in mind as well. How many people out there dream of getting married? To me, that's not really a dream because it happens every day. And I know some of you are thinking, well, so does going to school or hitting the road or becoming a rock star. You're right, it happens every day. But does that really make it less of a dream? That's what I'm getting at with this little point here. If you have a dream, regardless if it's getting married, becoming a rock star, or living in that cardboard condo under a bridge somewhere. Don't let anybody tell you any different that that's stupid or silly or ridiculous. It's not ridiculous. It's what you want. It's what you deserve. So keep that in mind. I know people that tell great tales about what they're going to do with their life, and yet they never move forward towards it, ever. They just talk about it, because talking about the dream to them is basically the dream, is to be able to tell a good tale, tell a story. Make things as believable as possible, but don't actually follow through with them. That is their dream. To be a storyteller, I guess. Nothing wrong with that. Some days I think it's a little sad, even though they seem to enjoy it. But I would rather have a dream and follow through with it just enough to know if it would be real. And if it's going to be real, that's when you got to take that time, that decision. And you either step on through that door and make it real, or look at it and go, whoa, this could be it. I could step through the door and live the good life, or I could step through that door and it not be quite what I thought it was. If you ask me, take that chance. Live that dream. Because face it, if you had the dream and you follow through with it, and in 2 weeks, 6 months, 6 years, it's not what you thought, you can reinvent yourself. You can have a new dream. You can change your mind a billion different times and move on into new directions. That's the beauty of life. So many people nowadays think that there's a plan in life, that they get born, grow up, go to school, graduate, get a job, grow old, and die. Why does it have to happen that way? Why can't you get born, grow up, get through school, and do whatever the heck you want? So many people don't realize their dreams because they're too busy listening to the rest of the world saying, you can't do that, you can't do this, you have to do that, you've got to do this. The world doesn't have a shortage of dreamers by any means. The world has a shortage of follow-throughers. That's a good way to put it. Follow-throughers. If you don't follow through with anything that you say you're going to do, it doesn't matter what your dream is. It can be as petty as walking across the street and saying, that was my dream. But if you never walk across the street, why bother? So keep that in mind. That dreams can be anything you want. You can sit back and, well, you know where it's going. You know where you've been. You know what you need to do to get there. It's just now, it's your time to grab that dream with both hands and hold tight. Don't let it shake you loose. Because if you do, you may wake up one day and be a very old person and start saying, what if I would have done that? What if I would have done that? I'm approaching middle age really quick, and I've got enough what ifs in my life, and I don't need any more. I'm like some of you right now, and if you listen to last night's show, you'll understand why I say this, that I'm like some of you. I've got 3 jobs currently. I work at a theatrical place during the day, manufacturing curtains. 3 to 4 nights a week in the evenings, I work at a jewelry store. Then on the weekends and on various other nights of the week, I work here on RadioVisions. I do readings, I do private parties, I do shows. Some weeks I log in close to 100 hours. Some weeks I only log in maybe 45 to 50. But do I want to do this for the rest of my life? Till I'm old and have regrets? No, I don't. So remember, whatever your dreams are, follow through with them. Don't let the world get in the way. Like I said, even if your dream is as simple as going on a vacation to some exotic land or just 2 states over, go for it. Figure out a way to do it. Scratch your little head and go, how can I do this? Is it going to incorporate you taking 2 jobs for 6 months to a year to save up enough to do it? Is it going to take you and your spouse, both of you getting jobs, 2 jobs apiece, to save up enough to buy that big house if that's what you want, or to buy that expensive car or toys? What is your dream? Where are you going with it? But more importantly, where is it taking you? And that's a good question right there in itself. Where is your dreams taking you? You know what your dreams are, but where is it taking you? Is it taking you into the future? To where you need to be happy? And do you know if what you're dreaming will actually make you happy? I know a handful of people where material objects make them very happy. That makes them ecstatic, actually. They're the type of person that has the newest TV out there, the newest computer, the newest house, the newest this, that, and the other. And that's what they work for, buying these new luxuries as they come off the assembly line. That is their dream, to have the best of the best. And for me, that dream's not so important. You need so much stuff in your life every day just to get through the days. You need a roof over your head of some kind. But remember, what kind of roof do you need over your head? Like my dream right now is buying a motorhome and hitting the road. So I will have an apartment on wheels. There are hundreds and thousands of people that live in RVs full time in this nation of ours. And I'm sure they are hundreds of thousands of people in other countries that live in RVs. Why? Because that is their dreams. Some of them there are by choice, because they got tired of life, retired, whatever, and hit the roads in their RVs. Others not so fortunate. They may have been fortunate enough to have bought a house and an RV, then at some point in time lost their house and were left living in their RV or trailer because they had no other choice. But the fact of the matter is, they had somewhere to go. They had a place. They had a roof. And their dreams can start over from that point. So don't let anybody tell you that your dreams are foolish. People may tell you you're crazy. But that doesn't make you foolish. That doesn't make you wrong. That makes you doing what you want to do. So keep that in mind as well. But getting back to having a roof over your head, does it matter what kind it is? To some people it will. To other people it doesn't matter, as long as you have a place to go, a place to call home, a place to lay your head at night and feel safe. Some people feel that owning those big expensive cars, that's what life's about. I don't agree with that, but that's what their dream is. That's what makes them happy. To me, I'm happy if my vehicle starts. I don't own a brand new vehicle. Actually, I bought a used vehicle. It's a 2004. And as long as it gets me from point A to point B, I am just thrilled to death with it. Didn't cost me an arm and a leg. And like I said, I'm thrilled with it. It can handle all the weather and all the extremes that I put it through here in this state and many other states, I'm sure. As time goes on, I'll find out when I'm traveling. So keep that in mind. And if you're just tuning in and you're wondering what's going on, tonight's topic is dreams, and you're listening to RadioVisions. And please keep in mind, if you're out there and you want a psychic reading done, Just IM me at any time during this, and we'll just divert it and go over to doing that like any other night. That is why we're here, is to do those readings as well. And remember, I am here for you. Our topics that we talk about are just kind of fun stuff, and if you want to interject a new topic at any time, send me that instant message and we'll do that as well. So, you're listening to Radio Visions, and I am Darrah. This is Saturday night, December 6th, 2008. And we are talking about dreams. So, how many people go to bed every night and have unique dreams? When I say unique, not your typical run-of-the-mill. Let me give you an example. A run-of-the-mill dream is that you go to bed at night and your dream is that you're running down the street because a big dog's chasing you. Okay, no big deal. Now that same dream might have a whole new meaning to it if you have it 3 times a month. But not only 3 times a month, but 3 times a month, 2 or 3 months in a row. Then that would make it kind of unique, kind of interesting. That would suggest that this dream is trying to tell you something. Are you alert enough to understand what it's trying to tell you? Are you running from this big dog because life is getting too much for you? Pressures are coming down and you feel like you can't escape what's bothering you? Or is it the other way around? Is it life pushing you forward so that you'll do and achieve things that you normally wouldn't do if you didn't feel like you were being pushed? There are a lot of different ways to interpret dreams. Some good and some not so good. So keep that in mind. You can learn lots from any style of dream, regardless if it's that big dog chasing you, or if it's just you standing in the middle of a cornfield wondering why you're there, listening to the sounds of the corn rustle in the wind, listening to the sound of something approaching you and you can't see what it is because you're in the cornfield. And as soon as that thing gets on top of you and you think you're going to see it, you wake up. Or worse yet, that thing's rushing towards you, you feel it coming, your heart starts pounding, it's going faster and faster and faster. Then as soon as it jumps, you're sitting in your easy boy in your front room watching the evening news. So what does that tell you? Does that tell you that the thing in the dark that's coming from you isn't really there because you're always safe in your home watching the evening news? Or is it the world coming to get you? Who knows? It's up to each individual to interpret what their dreams mean. Because what it means to you isn't necessarily what it means to someone else. So keep that in mind. And every so often people share dreams. If you and your spouse are close, and I don't mean just close because you're married or whatnot, but I mean close to where you have a dream and your spouse can tell you about that dream the next day, that is a very rare and special thing. And I've known other people to be able to do that as well, not just husband and wife, but boyfriend, girlfriend, have been able to do that if they care enough about each other. So keep that in mind. That dreams and reality, when they intertwine with each other, can be a wonderful thing. It can be a scary thing as well. So keep that in mind as well. And if you've been over the website for the last few days, you've noticed the posting on the Radio Vision page where we are still asking for music. We need all kinds of music. We've had a handful of people submit music so we can post on Radio Visions. Because as of January 1st, 2009, we're going to start broadcasting music. And our website does still say we were looking for cool jazz, smooth jazz, and new age music. And we are desperately. So if you produce your own music or know somebody that does, please print off that permission form. Mail us a copy of your CD. Let us have it. Let us get it processed. Let us start playing your music on the air. Because that's another reason why we're here. To have an alternative place for y'all to go to listen to some great music. So keep that in mind, will you? We need your music desperately, so please send it in. So here we are, talking about dreams. What is your dream? Have we covered it yet? Is your dream to make a lot of money? And if so, how are you going to go about it? How are you going to go about it? You going to work your tail off, go back to school, are still in school, wanting to make some good investments with your life, wanting to maybe find a niche so you can produce a product that no one's ever seen or heard of before that might make you a very wealthy person? Anything's possible if you put your mind to it. And I always tell people that regardless of what you believe or how you believe it, it can happen. So regardless if you're looking for that silver lining in the storm, keep it in mind that it can happen. So moving forward from here, everybody has a dream. I'd like to know yours. So send me that send me that email, tell me what your dream is. And why do you dream that dream? Because sometimes that's more important than the dream itself. Why do you dream it? Why do you have it? What makes that your dream? Let's stop and think about that. And to examine this question, I guess we'll examine myself, since I know myself better than anybody else. As you know, my dream is to buy a motorhome, to hit the road, maybe move around from town to town, state to state for a little while before I settle down in the state of Washington, state of Arizona, state of New Mexico, Florida, Missouri. Who knows where I'll end up? But the point of the matter is, why is it my dream? Honestly, it's because I want to leave the state that I live in. Nothing more, nothing less. Just something that simple. I want to move around. I want to travel. I want to see things. And I know what you're thinking. Well, can't you do that from where you're at? Sure I can. I can take a vacation every year and see places. But it's not the same. Because even though you're on vacation, even if you're driving everywhere, you get to see all the great scenery. You'll meet a handful of people. But if you're traveling and staying in places for not just a week at a time, but 2 or 3 months at a time, you will get a sense of what is out there, unlike anything else you'll ever experience. I know some people says, "Oh, I hate to use cars. I hate to travel by car. I'd rather fly everywhere." To me, flying is for people that has a business meeting on Tuesday, so they fly out Monday, have their meeting, and fly back Wednesday. Or fly out Monday morning, have an afternoon meeting, and fly back Monday night. To me, that's what flying's for. To get you there quick, do your thing, get home. We're traveling by automobile, get you out there in the world so you can experience things that you would not normally experience. You get to experience new people, new cultures, new ideas. And along the way, your ideas might change a little bit. They may go from what you think you know is 100% fact to, wow, I didn't realize it would be like this. I didn't know that when I drove to Florida that the weather was really like this all year long. Or what I thought the weather was like all year long there, it really isn't. Because why? You're there more than a day, more than a week. You're there 2 or 3 weeks, 2 or 3 months, a year or two at a time, maybe, if you like it. You pull in, find you a place to lay your head, get a job. And that's the cool thing. If you're traveling, you can actually pull into a town if you own a motorhome or a travel trailer. Pull in, set it into any RV park, campsite, or any other place that will allow it. Get a job. And it doesn't have to be a full-time job, just enough to get by, because why? At this point in life, money's not the object. And that's a hard thing for a lot of people to realize, that money is not the object when you're free and traveling and seeing stuff. And if money's the object, you probably have no business trying to live the lifestyle I want. A lot of people have to have that stability in their life, that they have to know that they've got a job every single day of their life. Me personally, if I could figure out a way to pay all my bills, I wouldn't have a job at all. None whatsoever. But since my world right now is including a house payment and a car payment and utility payments, I have to have some kind of work to make it happen. So that's what I'm working on. Like I said earlier, I'm working 3 jobs basically. And I know what you're thinking, well, why am I working 3 jobs if money's not an object? Well, currently it is a couple of different things. My day job pays for all my bills. And my night jobs actually just give me something to do with my nights and evenings. Money's just a side effect of these jobs. So, and then it helps me put just a little bit away so I can get a little step closer to that dream, to getting that vehicle that I'm wanting, so I can live my dream, go out and travel. And doing what I do in the evening as far as doing readings for people, doing entertainment as far as the Imagine show and the Stranger show. Doing those, I can do those anywhere. I can do it on the road. I can do it stationary in one town like I'm doing now. I can travel to anywhere in the United States or the world for that matter and do these shows. So that's not a problem either as far as what would I be doing if I was traveling. There's a lot of different jobs out there I would like to try, to be honest. Growing up over the years, in my adulthood, I've worked aircraft. I've worked other small machine shops. I've worked retail several times. I've worked doing shows. I've worked doing readings. But some of the jobs I'd like to do that I've never tried, I wouldn't mind working in a coffee shop for a while. Not saying it would be my dream job, that I was going to stay there forever and ever and ever, but I think it would be a fun experience, something neat and interesting. And when I say a coffee shop, I don't necessarily mean a big corporate chain like Starbucks, which I wouldn't mind working there, to be honest, but I'm thinking more along the lines of the small little mom and pop shops that pop up that has only 6 employees, and that's the person that founded the place, opened it up, and 4 or 5 other people that run it, you know. That's what I'm talking about. Something small, something intimate, something fun, where you can actually get to know the clientele because they're in all the time. They like being there. Not saying some of these bigger chains don't have that, but something that's just down to earth, real people. You know, so if you come in 5 minutes late or 5 minutes early, they're not going to chastise you either way. So, you know, I know a lot of companies that if you show up 5 minutes early and try to clock in, they squawk at you. But if you show up 5 minutes late, they squawk at you and threaten you. Oh, we're going to fire you because you're late. You know, the corporate world is a interesting animal, and sometimes it will squash a dream quicker than anything else. And other times, it's the reason why you have the dreams. Like I said, there's a lot of things out there in this world I'd like to try, and I figured if I was on the road, that's the best way I could experience a lot of it. Drive until I'm tired of driving, pull into a town, set up my motorhome in a RV park or a lakeside campsite, or up in the mountains even. Go down, get a part-time job, work, I don't know, 5 months, 2 years, and just enjoy life. Not have to worry about house payments, not have to worry about keeping a yard cut. I know a lot of people love their yards, but when you're someone like me that has allergies out the wazoo, cutting grass isn't the funnest thing in the world. I do it right now. Starting in early spring until late fall, I cut my yard, trim it, keep it as pretty as I think I can keep it. And then I also suffer the consequences of having allergies. So I wouldn't mind getting away from that. I also understand that there's a lot of upkeep on a motorhome. But to be honest, isn't there a lot of upkeep on anything you own, regardless if it's a house, a car, a motorcycle, skateboard for that matter? There's upkeep to everything in this world. So no matter what you do, you're not going to get totally away from responsibility. But you can make that responsibility a little less if you try hard enough, and if that's what you want. But as far as why I want to do this, like I said, it's to travel. It's to see new things, meet new people. I think if you, and this is my personal opinion, I think if you stay in one place too long, life becomes stale and stagnant, and it becomes no fun. And to be honest, I've been in this place way too long. It's time for me to move on. So here we are, hopefully moving on in a year and a half. Like I said, I've been having this dream for about 7 years now. Actually a little longer, but we'll just round it down to 7. And now that it's finally starting to get here, I need to sit back and really start looking for how I'm going to make it happen. And on my particular dream, I've got to sit down and think, do I buy something brand new? Do I buy something used? Weigh the pros and the cons. And right now I really don't know which route to go. I've been thinking of buying something used, to be honest. Because that way hopefully I could pay for it outright without having to get a loan. So if I start saving up now with what I already have saved up, maybe in a year to year and a half I could just go buy something outright. And then when I hit the road, the only payment I would have would be my car payment after I sell my house. And if I get enough for my house, I can pay my car off. And then the only thing I'd have to worry about paying would be insurance, vehicle insurance and stuff like that. I'd probably have to go get a cell phone so I could keep in contact with family and friends. So I'd have that payment. But like I said, stopping in from town to town and getting a part-time job or a full-time job and working a little here and working a little there and just living the good life for a while. Living the life of a vagabond. I guess that's what I want to do. I guess that's my dream. To be a vagabond. A drifter. Coming into a town, staying for a while, moving on. So tell me your dreams. What is your dream? Is it living up in the mountains in a log cabin? Or is it living in a loft condo in the middle of your downtown area overlooking the bay or the downtown itself? What is your dream? And why do you dream it? Have you always had this dream? Has it changed for you over the years, as mine has? I'm sure things change as life goes on. But as we get this going and moving, dreams can be wonderful things. They can be scary things. But no matter what your dream is, don't let nobody change it. You have to fulfill your own dream. And don't let it die out. I hear people all the time that call me and say, "Oh, I wanted to do this and this and this when I was in high school. Then I got out and went to work, or I went to college, or some other school, or some other trade, and blah, 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 and I lost track of my dreams. Now I feel empty." Well, life can get in the way, but it's never too late to follow through with the dream. I personally feel that if you have a dream, it is easier to follow through with it when you're single. If you're already married and you don't have kids yet, following your dreams are a little easier. If kids are your dream, that's a no-brainer. But sometimes when you have a family, regardless if it's you and a spouse and a couple kids or 100 kids or one kid, your dreams will take on a whole new life, a whole new direction. Then eventually you'll have to wait them out. Because what your dream is isn't necessarily what the dream of your spouse's is or your children's are. That's why I was waiting until my kids got old enough to fend for themselves, be out on their own, make life happy, make life fun for themselves. So like I said, I've got a year and a half to fulfill my dream that I've been dreaming of for 7 years. To be able to hit the road, do what I want, have a place, and still have a place of my own. I guess that's important to me. Because I know a lot of people that hit the road and try to live their dream just out of their vehicles, their cars, their trucks. And for a short time I thought about that myself. But the more I thought about it, the more I thought I would need a little more stable home life. So that's why I was thinking travel trailer in the beginning. And then now that it's morphed into a motorhome, that gives me the stability of having a home. Like I said, it's an apartment on wheels. You know, I have a bedroom, a kitchen, full bathroom, all that with me no matter where I go. And I guess that part of the dream is still keeping me grounded into reality of everybody needs their own place, their own space, their own little piece of heaven, whatever you want to call it. And your dreams are no different. Like I said, if your dream is to be an artist and create masterpieces that the world's going to love for the next 6,000 years, then follow through with it. Do your best to make it happen. If that means you need to sell everything you own and live in a one-bedroom studio so you can create art, then go for it. Why? Because that is your dream. That is your reality. That is in your control at all times. And the good thing about dreams, once you start them, you can switch them. You can change them, like I said. You can do everything you can to get to that point, and if it's not what you thought it was, you can redream the dream and move on. Over the centuries, there's been a lot of dreamers out there. Look at Leonardo da Vinci. He was an artist, a very good one at that. He was an architect, a very good one at that. He was a dreamer of dreams. And we were just lucky that he was fortunate enough to put his dreams on paper or on canvas so the rest of the world would know. So regardless what your dreams are, if it's something that you can live physically or something that you just daydream about, put it down somewhere so somebody will see it, somebody will know it, somebody will say, hey, wish I did that, wish I could do that. Why doesn't somebody make me do that? I know. Because we were born and raised to believe that we were supposed to settle down in one place, raise a family, and then prepare for the end, I guess. I think that's silly. Now that might have been the philosophy 200 or 300 years ago, but in this day and age, life changes so fast and moves on so quick. We have to think about the here, the now, not just what's coming next week, next month, next year, 6 years down the road. We got to think about all of that every day, every second. But in the same moment, we got to stop and think, what makes us happy? Why do we dream the dreams we dream? And only you know that. If you're just joining us, you're listening to RadioVisions, and I am Darrah. Tonight's topic is dreams. What is your dream? What is your goal in life? Are you actually living the dream you want, or are you living someone else's? And if you've been over the website in the past few days, you will see, actually, we've posted this over a week ago, that our new hours are from 10:30 p.m. to midnight. And as of January 1st, 2009, we're going to have music streaming off RadioVisions. So please, if you haven't submitted any music and you produce your own music, please send it in. Print off the broadcasting form. Send it in to us here at RadioVisions so we can get it processed and start getting into the system. So as of January 1st, 2009, we can start broadcasting music. So keep that in mind. And if you're still planning that last bit of emergency Christmas parties or holiday parties, give me a call. I have 1 or 2 dates left open. I would be happy to come do a show for you. Regardless how small it is or how large it is, it does not matter. Give me a call on the shows. Times are running out. So going back to what is your dream? Everybody has a dream of some sort. And as I've been examining mine here tonight, I've always wondered what it would really be like once I got into it. And I've imagined it enough over the last 7 years, and it's changed enough over the last 7 years that I think it's going to be spectacular. I think it's going to be interesting. And I also think it is going to be very, very educational. And that is good and bad, because education can work both ways. It can be everything I thought it would be, and then it can be everything I had no clue what I was getting myself into. So, and I'm very well aware of that I could find out once I'm out there for 2 weeks, 6 months, that I don't like it, I don't care for it. So I'll just pick a destination and settle down and start the cycle all over again with new dreams. But until I get to that point, my dream is to be a free spirit, traveling around, enjoying what life I can, why I still can. I'm just tired of being, as I feel it, trapped in society. You know, society dictates that you grow up, get a job, and be a good citizen. I'm not saying that's bad or that's wrong. I'm saying it doesn't have to be boring. You can do whatever you want and still be a good citizen, a good person, doing your part for the world, making a difference, however you want to word it. But the truth of the fact of the matter is that so many people are just going through the motions of everyday life that they're not really living it. And there's days I feel that more than others. That I get up, I go to work, get off work, go to my other work, get off that work, go to my other work, come home, go to bed, start the cycle all over again. Why? So I can pay my house payment, I can pay my car payment, I can pay my utilities, I can pay this, I can pay that. But in the meantime, I'm working so much that I don't get to travel, I don't get to see stuff. I lose track of what I used to enjoy. When I was a kid growing up, I used to dream about summers. Ooh, can't wait until summer vacation. Get out of school. Can mope around the house all day or can go to day camp all day and play with my friends and build models and forts out in the backyard and do all that in the summer months. I want those dreams back. I want to be that kid again that didn't have to worry about making ends meet. Because if you don't, I want to have fun again, I guess is what I'm saying. I want to have those outlandish dreams, even if I know they won't come true. I still want to have them. I still want to play. But as an adult, when you have those dreams, you have the real choice of making them happen. You can plan and you can do. I know so many people, oh, well, you're planning. You've got a retirement package. You've been putting money away for years. When you retire, you can do all this. At the rate the world's going, the economy's going, I won't be able to retire probably until I'm 70 or 75. If I would go that route. By then, I may not feel like following my dreams. I may not feel like I can do anything. I don't know what my physical condition will be then. I don't know if I'll be sickly or if I'll still be healthy. But right now, I'm relatively young by today's standards. So I want to go out and do what I can for myself when I can enjoy it. When I can still get out and do the physical part of it without having to worry about if something should happen to me on the road, am I going to be able to take care of myself Do I need to settle down again and start over? Those things I can do right now. When I'm 70, I don't know if I'll care about doing them. You know? I know a lot of people that saved up their retirement packages all their lives. They finally got to retire, and it seemed like after they retired, they kind of fell into this pattern of puttering around their home and not doing a whole lot. To me, that's kind of scary. Because more and more of Americans are doing that. Oh, we're going to retire early. And if you can, that's great. I'm not knocking that. Oh, we're going to go travel. We're going to go do this. Some of them retire, take a couple trips, and they realized the travel thing wasn't for them. So here they are, working part-time jobs to give them something to do. They may not need the money, like my second job at the jewelry store. I don't need the money. It's there to give me something to do in the evenings. But since the side effect of that is I get a paycheck, that money gets to be put into a savings account for my motorhome. So eventually, I will be able to, I hope, pay for a motorhome outright. And like I said earlier, I will probably be buying a used one. Why? Because if I buy a brand new one, I'll probably have to finance it. And that will defeat the purpose of getting rid of all my payments, all my liabilities, all my fun stuff. And I know there's a chance, you buy a used anything. It can be a house, it can be a car, it can be a motorhome, it can be a used pair of tennis shoes. You don't know really what you're getting until after you get it. Yes, I understand that's the downside. But that could make life interesting, could it not? Everybody loves stuff when it works. I understand that. I'm not going to dispute it in any way, shape, or form. Things get frustrating when they don't work. But sometimes, that's the only way we learn anymore. Because we're so used to just go out and buy new, finance this, finance that. Well, if you go out and buy a used vehicle and it don't run, you can either take it to a shop or work it on yourself. Either way you do it, you learn something. You learn what was wrong. You learn how to fix it. Since I became an adult and have bought my first several homes, I've learned how to do a lot of things. I learned how to do minor plumbing. I've learned how to do minor electrical work. I've learned how to roof a house. I've learned how to paint walls more efficiently. I've learned how to put in brand new windows in a home. These are things I never thought about doing before until I owned a home. So, certain things will make you learn things. That's just the way it is. And that's a wonderful thing. It may be a pain in the backside at the moment, but in the long run it's wonderful because you learn something. And no matter what it is you are learning, as long as you're learning something new, that is fun. That is great. That is why I feel if you don't follow your dreams and you just let them go down in flames, so to speak, you're missing the opportunity of learning something. You may learn that this dream was everything you thought it would be. You may learn that it was everything you thought it wasn't going to be. So you followed your dream, and it turned out just the opposite of what you were wanting. Then what do? In my opinion, it's easy. You make another dream and move forward towards it. It's that simple. Too many people think, oh God, if I do this and my dream crashes and burns, then what? I'm going to be a failure. So what? You tried something that you thought you were going to enjoy. You learned that it wasn't for you, so you moved on to something else that is for you. I don't see what's wrong with that. I know some people that want to be the best auto mechanic in the world. So they take some classes on auto mechanics. They go out and get the jobs they want, they think. Some of them flourish at it and they're the head of this multi-million-dollar company that does auto work. Other people get there, work their butts off, and no matter what they do, it just doesn't do anything for them. It may not pay what they thought it would pay. It just may just be a big disappointment. It just may feel wrong. It just, once they get into it, that something's just not right. That doesn't mean they have to give up on life and curl up into a ball and die. They can stop and look around and, okay, this is what I want to do next, and go do it. That's the great thing about life. You have the opportunity to reinvent yourself over and over and over again. And I highly recommend you do it as much as you want. If you graduated high school and wanted to go to college, I say do it. If you graduated college and got a degree in law and you went on to be an attorney or even a judge, after a few years you decided it wasn't for you, reinvent yourself. Go back to school or do whatever it takes to make your dreams come true. But you can reinvent yourself many, many, many times over in one human lifespan. Don't let anybody tell you different on that one, that, oh, you're too old, you're too young, that's too foolish. They're telling you that because that's the way they feel about themselves. Do not let anybody tell you that your dreams or your ideas are foolish. Now, on the other hand, if you are pursuing a dream that is sucking you dry, either financially or physically, and you refuse to give up on it, and your friends are telling you that maybe it's time for you to step back, reevaluate your dream, and maybe change it and move into a new direction. Now, these people aren't telling you what you're doing is stupid or wrong or anything else. They are concerned about you. They think that you need to figure out why no matter what you're doing isn't working for you. So keep that in mind, that everybody that tells you something about what you say your dreams are or aren't, they tell you you're silly or crazy or foolish, that's just because that is not their dream. But at the same time, you need to recognize your own dreams. And in these dreams, you need to recognize if you're successful or not. If you are not successful in your dreams, but you refuse to see it, then you may be doing harm to yourself and others around you. So keep that in mind. When your dreams fail, and some of them will, don't be stubborn enough to not realize it. You may not want to realize it in the beginning, but don't let it drag you out too far or down too far. Because if it does, the recovery time is going to be harder and harder and harder. Take, for example, my dream of buying a motorhome and hitting the road. I've got a really good feeling that I will know within the first 2 to 6 months if it's for me. I also got a really good feeling that I will recognize that if it's not for me, I will settle down somewhere and go back to a lifestyle I know I can do by just getting a job and going through the motions like I have been. See, your old lifestyle or your old dreams or whatever you want to call what you're doing now, will always be there. You can always fall back into them. That is a given. It is a no-brainer. Because that you've already done. You know you can do it. It's the things you want to do that you're not for sure about. That's what's scary. That's what's odd. And that's what's exhilarating and fun. And sometimes being safe isn't a good thing. Sometimes being safe is not safe. And I'm saying you need to be physically safe. Yes, you do. But I'm saying if you play life safe, you're going to miss out. If you keep telling yourself you're going to do something and never give yourself a timeline, you're going to wake up one day and realize you've wasted all your time. And the world around you has moved on and you're still sitting here going, I'm going to do this someday. But you're either going to be too old to do it or not financially available to do it. And do things while you can. Some people will tell you that dreams are for young people. The sad thing is, all these young people, when I say young people, I mean people that are getting out of high school, college, trade schools, and all that. So I'm talking about you 20-somethings. After you get done with your schooling, whatever type it is, before you jump into a career and say, that is my dream, that is my goal in life, is to be a workaholic until I drop dead. Stop and really think about that. And give the thought of maybe travel or art or music or something might be a better fit for you. And if it's not, you have your education and your willpower to go finish anything that you started. So if you wanted to be that corporate leader and run a Fortune 500 company, you can do that at 25, you can do that at 65, you can do that at 45. But some dreams you got to do when you dream them. And I say go for it. Live that dream before it's too late. Don't have too many regrets in your life. Everybody will have a handful of regrets when they get to the other end of life. Everybody. But if you can make that list of regrets smaller and smaller as time goes on, I would highly suggest you do it. If one of your dreams is to get out of high school and backpack through Europe before you start college or grad school or trade school somewhere, I suggest you get out of high school, take the 6 months to 3 years off and go backpack through Europe. Go for it. Have a great time. Live your life the way you want to live it. Don't live your life the way someone else tells you to live it. Because regardless what anybody tells you, it is your life, your dreams, your ambitions. And only you know what will make you truly happy. So, don't do anything to compromise your happiness. Like I said, if your dream is just to get married, settle down, and have a couple kids, a dog, a picket fence, by all means pursue it like you would pursue anything else. Full steam ahead, eyes wide open. Because if you don't, you're going to wake up one day and look back and go, what have I done? Where am I going? Who am I? And I think that one's the scariest one right there. Who am I? Because I could tell you about dreams I've had when I was growing up. I've never reached them. Some of them I've never tried to reach. Some of them I did try to reach really hard. And no matter what I did, I just never quite got there, got to it. But after a while, I realized that it wasn't for me. Or I changed the vision enough to understand that I no longer wanted it. And I don't know if that sounds like I was making a compromise or not, but I don't think I was. So keep that in mind. Giving up on something doesn't mean that you're a failure. Doesn't mean that you never follow through with anything. It just means that you realized the signs were there that where you were going with it or where it was going with you wasn't going to manifest itself into what you needed or what you envisioned it. And sometimes changing it a little bit helps. Because life isn't set in stone. So your dreams shouldn't be either. They should be flexible enough to fix it and tweak it and do things when you need to. So keep that in mind as well. Because like I said, if your vision is to own that 10,000 square foot house, there are things you can do that will lead you right to it 100%. How hard are you willing to work for it? How many hours a day are you willing to stay at work to get it? How much sleep are you willing to give up to achieve it? Them are just some of the things that will factor into anybody's dream. But remember, if you can't afford the dream itself, you can cut it back a little bit. Instead of buying a 10,000 square foot house like you were dreaming of all your childhood, maybe you could afford the 3,000 square foot house or the 5,000 square foot house. Something a little less extravagant, but just as nice, just as amazing, just as you dreamed it. Keep that in mind as well. That life is really good, no matter how you dream it, no matter how you slice it, no matter how you rearrange it. Your dreams are what keeps you going. And don't let anybody take that away from you. Like I said, some of your friends will tell you you're silly, you're crazy, because your dream is to grow up and own a fish farm. What's crazy about that? What's silly about that? If that's what you want, that's what you need. But keep in mind that all dreams you start will not follow through exactly the way you envisioned them. Therefore, that's why they call them dreams half the time. So a small percentage of people that dream the dream will actually fulfill their dream exactly the way they've dreamed it. Some people dream of growing up and being rich and famous, and they only get half of that equation. They either figure out a way to become rich, or they figure out a way to become famous, but not necessarily rich. Very, very few seem to get that balance in there where they're rich and famous. Kudos to them. But just if you're one of the people that can only get half of that equation, feel lucky. You got half of your dream. To me, that's just as important. So don't let anybody tell you you're crazy. But you need to realize the signs, like I said earlier, that when it comes time to changing or tweaking your dreams because they are not being fulfilled the way you were envisioning them, please do not hesitate to tweak them, to change them, to make them work for you. That is really what a dream is, something that makes you happy. Give it a shot, see where it leads you. But remember, you are in control of the dream. You are the one making it happen. So if you see your dream running for a brick wall, figure out a way to steer it off to the side so you miss that brick wall. Don't close your eyes and hope the brick wall disappears, because sometimes it does not. And then you hit it and wonder why you failed. So keep that in mind as well. If you're just joining us, you're listening to Visions by Darrah, and I am Darrah. Tonight's topic was dreams. What is your dreams? Have you fulfilled your dreams? Are you still working on them? Tonight's examples of dreams and what things were focused mainly on myself, because I wanted to share with you my dreams, my hopes, my ideas of what the future is going to bring for me in the next year and a half, possibly 2 years. I hope not a full 2 years, but a year and a half. So, and I hope you enjoyed the ideas behind this, that no matter what your dreams are, you should run with them. Listen to your family and friends, even if they call you crazy. Because sometimes their input will change your dream just enough to make it a reality. Or maybe their input will change it just enough to keep you from doing something too strange at first. But like I said, no matter what your dream is, dream it. Have fun with it. But most importantly, follow through with it. If you want to be a rock star, figure out how to be a rock star. If that means you're going to learn how to play guitar and sing in bad clubs for the next 6 years in order to get a record deal, then that's what you need to do. To live that dream, to be in front of those people, to sing your little heart out or compose your little musics and hope the world appreciates it. Because if you do it with style, flair, but most importantly, if you do it with all your heart, you will succeed. You will succeed. In more ways than one. So keep that in mind, and excuse me on that. So like I said, keep that in mind. No matter what your dreams are, go for it. Run with them. Be as happy as you can be with what you think your dreams are. I don't care what your dream is, as long as you dream the dream and try to fulfill it. Okay? And remember, if you'd like to send us emails later on or just get in contact with us, go to the Contact Us/newsletter page and drop me an email or sign up for the newsletter, because the newsletter goes out once a month, usually within the first week of every month, and we'll tell you little blurps and smidgets on stuff that we're doing here at RadioVisions and what's coming up and so on and so forth. Sometimes we'll be having cool things just for members only that sign up for the newsletter, so keep that in mind as well. And let us know your thoughts. Let us know what you think of our new format, or new hours of 10:30 to midnight, or ideas of a new topic every time we're here on the weekends. Send me your input. It's very important, because the more input we get here, the better off our show will be. And if you produce your own music, you're a musician, a band, a solo artist, whatever you do, fill out a broadcasting form, mail it to us with a CD, and let us broadcast your music. Let the world hear it, because that's what we're here for. That's what we're here for. To make you a star just as much as to make us a star, I guess. And besides, wouldn't you like to be able to go to a cool radio station and listen to music you actually contributed with? That, I think, is the coolest thing that you could do. Because face it, you can tell your friends, hey, go to this radio station and they'll listen for a while. You'll hear some of my music. Bragging rights alone would be kind of cool, don't you think? I do anyway. And for all you people out there that have been tuning in for the past month and a half, I do appreciate it. And everybody that has sent us stuff and emailed us stuff and so on and so forth, I do appreciate all that as well, and keep it coming. The more you send us, the better off we will be. Tell us what you think of the website. Do we need to change it? Do we need to leave it as it is? How do we make it better? How do we make it better? So let us know. Give us your thoughts. What would you change? What would you keep the same? Would you add a blog page? Would you not add a blog page? Would you add more choices on events or shows or newsletters or radio stations or music styles? What would you like to see? What would you like to hear? Let us know. We like the input. We would like to change it as much as we can to help you, to help us, all that fun stuff as well. So keep that in mind, that we're here for you just as much as you are there for us. And like every other night that we are here, all you got to do, if you want a free reading on the nights that we are live, you just got to instant message me, and I will be happy to stop everything I'm doing and give you a reading. That's just part of the game, part of the fun. So keep that in mind as well, okay? That the readings during the live events are free. Free. That's a good thing, is it not, boys and girls? Everything free should be fun. And that's what we're here all about. It's to have fun. To make our dreams happen. That is fun. So like I said, tonight's topic was dreams. And the more you dream, the more you live. And the more you live, the more you want to dream. So remember, whatever your dream is, proceed with it. Take it to the next level. Regardless how large that dream is or how small that dream is. Take it to the next level. Make it into something that you would be proud of, saying that you did, or at least you tried. Because like I said, when we get to the other end of life, everybody will have a handful of regrets. But if we can keep it to a handful, that's a plus in my book. Instead of having a bucket full of regrets, just a handful is better, don't you think? Because I don't think anybody makes it through life without no regrets. There's always something that we should have done but didn't do. Regardless if that was a relationship, trying new things out, or following that dream that we dreamed about when we were 7 years old. We got to keep the dreams alive somehow. So now is the time to take a deep breath and tell yourself, I'm going to follow my dreams. Regardless if it's that better job, starting my own business, or traveling this great planet of ours. Live the dream. Follow the dream. But most importantly, become the dream. If you can become your own dream, you achieved everything you set out to do. Even if that dream doesn't happen exactly the way you want it, or if once you start it, it doesn't materialize at all, even though you've started it. The most important thing is you tried, you started something, you walked through those steps, you followed through, and you will have no regrets. My name is Darrah, and I'd like to thank you, and good night for Saturday, the 6th, 2008.